Hey, shalom, shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahawah Bahasham Yahawashi, Bahasham Kakodash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone, who all learn this truth from the rule well. Bees had tasted 144,000, and the rest of one third. The large multitude unto y'all say shalom. Come to you back with another lesson through the Spirit, and the title for this one's going to be Trust and Have Faith in Yahawah Bahasham Yahawashi. Because we're about to come into the times where we're going to have that next level of faith, where we're going to have to put our trust fully in Yahawah Bahasham Yahawashi. We're not going to be able to trust in carnal means to deliver us, unlike 2/3 of our people and these heathens. Because, a lot of these Edomites, these Proud Boys, they've been prepping for decades, years, for the times we're about to come into, because they know that the hour of temptation is coming, martial law, Jacob's trouble, all hell breaking loose, the economic collapse, and that's going to be their way to so-called be safe, in those times. They've been stocking up on canned goods, water, different equipment, survival equipment, building up these different bunkers and shelters to keep them safe in the time of calamity. But, the 2/3 of our people, they're not even in the mindset that this place is going to collapse. All hell is going to break loose. Our people don't really believe that this country, America, Babylon the Great, is just two events away from all hell breaking loose. And our people are going to get caught up out there, naked, without any covering when all hell breaks loose. And the ones that have been prepping, the 2/3 of our people, they're prepping by the way of carnality, either stocking up on guns and ammo or canned goods and food and shelter, building up these different bunkers, building up militias, to be quote unquote protected, in the times we're about to come into, instead of putting their trust and faith in Yahawah Bahasham Yahawashi. The only ones who are going to be putting their faith and trust in Yahawah Bahasham Yahawashi to keep them during Jacob's trouble, martial law, and even to the times where the missiles are going to hit America and destroy this place, are going to be the elect. That's why us in this knowledge, wisdom, and understanding, us are the hopeful elect. We're building up our faith right now, through the trials and tribulations, the hell we're catching, fully building us up, to that point where we're going to lean and trust in Yahawah Bahasham Yahawashi, regardless of the situation we're in. But the rest of our people, the 2/3, they're going to trust in carnal means to deliver them. But they're going to have to come and find out the hard way that was never the way to be delivered. Because even if you do have all these, these different means and ways, you might have a bunker or stocked up on years worth supply of food, that's not going to be able to deliver you when all hell breaks loose, because ultimately the only ones who are going to be saved and kept, from all the calamities that are about to come up on the planet Earth are going to be the elect. Ultimately because they were predestined from the foundation of the earth to be kept safe in these times we're about to come into. Because ultimately it was Yahawah Bahasham Yahawashi's will to keep his elect. But the rest of our people, the 2/3, even if they do somehow make it, all the way till the missiles hit, they're still gonna get that second death, that lake of fire, because ultimately they didn't put their trust and faith in Yahawah Bahasham Yahawashi. This is Proverbs chapter 18 and verse 10. The name of the Lord, Yahawah Bahasham Yahawashi, is a strong tower. The righteous runneth into it and is safe. And who are the ones who are going to run into the names of Yahawah Bahasham Yahawashi to be kept in these times of calamity we're about to come into? are going to be the elect, but the rest of our people, the 2/3, they're not going to lean and trust and have their faith in Yahawah Bahasham Yahawashi. They're going to trust in these other gods, the Jesus Christ word. They're going to call on Allah, Buddha, the Virgin Mary, and all sorts of different idols to deliver them. But they're not going to be able to deliver them because these false gods, these idols, they don't exist. They're not real. The only true and living power is Yahawah Bahasham Yahawashi. Those are the true names that the elect are going to be calling upon to be safe in these times we're about to come into. But even now, we may get in a jam or get put in a situation where we call upon the Lord to deliver us. But he hears his cries, the prayers of the elect, but the 2/3 of our people, they're not going to be calling upon the true names to be kept. They're going to be calling upon these false names, these different gods, these different idols, which aren't going to be able to deliver them. Trusting in these carnal means, prepping bunkers, that's all going to be in vain. All these provisions that these preppers, these doomsday preppers are preparing, they're really for the elect. Like in that movie, Leave the World Behind, towards the end of the movie, that little girl, she stumbled upon a house with a bunker that had food, water. It even had entertainment, but pretty much the owners of that bunker in that house, they didn't get to use it. It was kept for that little girl, and that's the same thing that's going to happen in these days we're about to come into. All these different provisions that these people are setting up are really for the elect. This is Sirach chapter 2 and verse 10. Look at the generations of old and see, did ever any trust in the Lord and was confounded, or did any abide in his fear and was forsaken, or whom did he ever despise that called upon him? And all these scriptures, of our forefathers, they're written for our learning. From Daniel, in the lion's den, the 3 holy children in the furnace, to Jonah in the belly of the fish, the well. These are all scriptures that we could go back to and see. They trusted in the Lord. They trusted in Yahawah Bahasham Yahawashi to deliver them when they needed him most. When they were in that situation where they had their backs turned against the wall, where it seemed like there was no way out. But they called upon Yahawah Bahasham Yahawashi to deliver them. And the Lord isn't going to forget any of his servants who are serving him in truth and sincerity. He's gonna hear their cries, hear their prayers, and deliver them, because ultimately they were abiding in that fear. They were abiding in that wisdom. They were fearing Yahawah Bahasham Yahawashi. Not to trust in carnal means to be delivered, but to trust in the Lord. Because even if we do have to be a martyr for this truth, ultimately that's the Lord's will. We didn't deny our faith, even if we had to lose our life. This is Psalms chapter 44 and verse 6. For I will not trust in my bow, neither shall my sword save me. Verse 7. But thou hast saved us from our enemies, and hast put them to shame that hated us. So we're not going to trust in the modern day bow, which is, the gun or whatever means of ways you use to defend yourself. We're not going to trust in those means to deliver us. We're going to have to put our trust fully and have faith in Yahawah Bahasham Yahawashi to deliver us when Esau, Edom, and then these different heathen nations come down like a flood. Because when all hell breaks loose and that martial law gets instituted, that's when this devil's going to come down with that great wrath and start unaliving a lot of Israelites. But 2/3 of our people, the nation of Israel, comprised of these so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, they're not going to have that covering of Yahawah Bahasham Yahawashi. They're going to trust in their bow or their sword to deliver them. But the elect are going to put their trust in Yahawah Bahasham Yahawashi to keep them and deliver them. And he's going to put our enemies to shame. He's going to make them look foolish for trying to come up against his elect, because a lot of, or I want to say a lot, but some of the elect, starting with the 144,000, are going to get that spiritual power. That standard is going to be raised, ultimately to exalt Yahawah Bahasham Yahawashi, to show the power of Yahawah Bahasham Yahawashi, through his servants, the prophets. This is Hebrews chapter 11 and verse 1. Now faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. And that's something that 2/3 of our people lack. They lack the faith. They don't see Yahawah Bahasham Yahawashi here because ultimately they lack that faith. They got to see it to believe it. But us in this knowledge, wisdom, and understanding, they have came back, to the ancient path of Yahawah Bahasham Yahawashi. We don't have to see these things yet to believe. We believe it through faith. We believe that if we keep in this knowledge, wisdom, and understanding, if we stay in this truth, then we'll be delivered out of all the situations we're about to get into, because we're going to be in the midst of Jacob's trouble. We're going to be in the midst of martial law. Some of us are even going to get caught up and be put in these detention camps. But ultimately, we're not going to deny our faith if we have to be a martyr, lose our lives and get under that guillotine. We're still going to hold our integrity and keep our faith, even if we have to lose our lives. But if it was a 2/3, in these other Israelite camps that haven't got their faith built up, they haven't fully or put their trust in Yahawah Bahasham Yahawashi at all, they're going to deny, the so-called faith that they have, because ultimately they didn't really believe. This is Romans chapter 8 and verse 6. For to be carnally minded is death, but to be spiritually minded is life and peace. Verse 7, because the carnal mind is enmity against the Most High, for it is not subject to the law of the Most High, neither indeed can be. And a lot of our people, 2/3 of the nation of Israel, that includes these other Israelite camps that are pushing carnality to deliver them, when all hell breaks loose, when Jacob's trouble begins, the hour of temptation, martial law, a lot of these other Israelite camps that are pushing people to take means into their own hands. For example, like the Sakari, using guns to get out of situations. They're not going to be able to deliver themselves because ultimately they were being carnally minded. And that goes completely against what Yahawah Bahasham Yahawashi commanded us to do. He didn't command us to go out there and take matters into our own hands, to try to do our own will. Yahawah Bahasham Yahawashi's will was for us to just push out the word in the highways and byways and by the way of the internet. That's what we were commanded to do, not to take matter into our own hands, to build up militias, to stock up on guns and ammo, and try to fight the government in our own means. That's just going to lead to a bad situation. A lot of Israelites are going to get put to death that way. Because Esau, Edom, the self-proclaimed white man, he wants you to get carnal. He wants you to take manner into your own hands so he could come down with that great sword. So ultimately he could put you to death instead of trusting Yahawah Bahasham Yahawashi and being kept in the times we're about to come into. This is Amos chapter 5 and verse 18, woe unto you that desire the day of the Lord. To what end is it for you? The day of the Lord is darkness and not light. Verse 19, as if a man did flee from a lion and a bear met him, or went into a house and leaned his hand on the wall and the serpent bit him. So that's how the day of the Lord is going to be, especially to these other Israelite camps that are pushing, that prosperity doctrine. The day of Yahawah Bahasham Yahawashi is going to be just all flowers and rainbows and candies and lollipops. But no, it's going to be a day of great doom, gloominess, darkness, when there's going to be mass judgment, mass death, Israelites getting put to death left and right, having to step over bodies, the foul smell of dead bodies, blood everywhere. That's how it's going to be. But the elect are going to be kept from that because ultimately they put their faith and their trust in Yahawah Bahasham Yahawashi. Even if these other Israelite camps or these 2/3, they flee from a certain situation, like it says, like a man did flee from a lion and then a bear met him. And that's how it's going to be. When you think you've gotten away from one situation, you're going to run into another one. Ultimately because they didn't put their faith and trust in Yahawah Bahasham Yahawashi. They leaned on their own understanding, what they thought was going to be able to deliver them. And a lot of Israelites that don't get put to death by the sword, they're going to be starving to death. And that's a horrible way to go out. Like it says, it's better to perish by the sword than to die of famine. Because dying of famine, that's a horrible way to go out. Your body's just slowly eating itself, till you got your ribs touching your stomach. That's a horrible way to go out. But that's how a lot of our people are going to go out, because when they had the opportunity to repent and trust in Yahawah Bahasham Yahawashi, they denied it. They slapped their hand. They slapped the Lord's hand, being stiff-necked, going the other way, instead of hearing the reproof of his servants, the prophets, tell them to repent and turn back to Yahawah Bahasham Yahawashi to be able to be kept in the times we're about to come into. This is Matthew chapter 6 and verse 26. Behold, the fowls of the air, for they sow not, neither do they reap, nor gather into barns, yet your heavenly Father feedeth them. Are you not much better than they? So even the birds, the different birds, the eagles, the fowls of the air, the ravens, they get fed. Are his servants, the prophets, not much better than they? So that's Yahawah Bahasham Yahawashi saying, you're better than the birds and the fowls of the air. Then if I feed them, am I not going to feed you? Especially in the times we're about to come into. And yes, that's the truth. Yahawah Bahasham Yahawashi is going to keep his elect. He's going to feed them. He's going to give them shelter, from all the hell that's about to come upon the planet Earth. But only those who have put their trust and faith in Yahawah Bahasham Yahawashi. For the rest of the 2/3 of our people that haven't leaned on the Lord, they're not going to be kept. They're going to be destroyed, be put to death left and right, die of famine, die of thirst, ultimately because they weren't putting their trust and faith in Yahawah Bahasham Yahawashi when they had the opportunity, when they had the time to build their faith up. So when all hell breaks loose, they're not going to have any faith. Pretty much they're going to bug out and lose their mind completely. This is Isaiah 65 and verse 13. Therefore, thus saith the Lord, Yahawah Bahasham Yahawashi, behold, my servant shall eat, but ye shall be hungry. Behold, my servant shall drink, but ye shall be thirsty. Behold, my servant shall rejoice, but ye shall be ashamed. And that's the point, the servants, his prophets of Yahawah Bahasham Yahawashi, the men of the Lord who are serving in truth and sincerity, they're going to be kept in those days. They're going to have food. They're going to have drink. They're going to have yayan. While the rest of our people, the 2/3, they're going to be crying, gnashing the teeth, being vexed in the spirit, because they're not going to have anything to eat, anything to cover them in that day. They're going to be out here completely naked. Verse 14, behold, my servants shall sing for joy of heart, but ye shall cry for sorrow of spirit, and shall have vexation of spirit. And that's the contrast, that's the contrast of his servants, the prophets, the believers, the 1/3, who are putting their trust in Yahawah Bahasham Yahawashi, having faith, serving in truth and sincerity, contrary to the 2/3 who are, right now just scoffing and mocking, making fun of the prophets, calling them bums, telling us that Yahawah Bahasham Yahawashi isn't going to deliver us when all hell breaks loose, that they rather trust in the carnal means to deliver them. That's how they're going to end up. They're going to cry for sorrow of heart and howl for vexation of spirit. There's going to be gnashing of teeth, because ultimately they didn't put their trust and faith in Yahawah Bahasham Yahawashi to keep them. But that's pretty much the point. I pray this is edifying to the elect. I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahawah Bahasham Yahawashi, Bahasham Kakodash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone, who are under this truth from the rule well. Peace had tasted 144,000, and the rest of the 1/3, the large multitude. Unto you I say shalom.